Terrorist shelling of civilians in the northern part of Israel has become a matter of routine. One of Israel's countermeasures is a precision airstrike. Concealed in a Muslim cemetery, a terrorist rocket-launching vehicle is detected by an Israeli fighter. The pilot's dilemma is critically depicted by this gun camera video. Either pressing home his attack in accordance with military regulation, or avoiding collateral damage and respecting a sacred site. He exercises cool judgment and pauses anxiously while refraining from attack. As the terrorist's vehicle emerges from the cemetery, the Israeli pilot releases his ordnance, and the vehicle is destroyed. In those brief moments, the epitome of Israel's being was strikingly exposed. A democratic society confronting a totalitarian enemy of dissimilar merits. A sword fused with olive leaves symbolizes Israel's air power, willingness for peace, and simultaneously readiness for war. Middle East reality is a complex maze where planning just one step ahead is not good enough. The battle will be decided on the 10th move. Each one is critical, sometimes fatal. There is no second chance, no silver medals for the runner-up, but certain death. Hostile aircraft traverses the breadth of Israel within 4 minutes and strikes sensitive spots. Never in the history of human conflict has so much hostile weaponry been turned against one nation for so many years, an unprecedentedly complex threat. From a mob of rioters, rock throwers, militia and commandos, and goes all the way up to Western technology, smart bombs and standoff weapons. And it spans in ranges from tens of kilometers through second and third circles, covering ranges of well over 1,000 kilometers. While surface-to-surface missiles cast a continual threat, the advent of unconventional weaponry has added yet another dimension to the hazards of the Middle East, a place whose atmosphere comprises uncertainty, constantly changing environment. The IAF unparalleled and unique abilities provided Israel with unambiguous advantages over remote and close forms of threats. Israel's insurance policy. Each and every IAF serviceman and commander is imbued with the recognition that at time of need, he is quite irreplaceable. Even in times of tranquility, no one rests. The entire force may be exemplified as taut spring readiness. Approximately 1/3 of personnel remains in active duty, while the remaining 2/3 are reservists called for practice once every 10 days throughout the year. For example, each functionary, who happens to be an aircrew, has an emergency combat posting during crisis. As a relatively small force, the IAF achieves great effectiveness and high survivability by assigning each aircraft with multi-role capabilities wherever and whenever demanded. Results, not excuses, is the Israel Air Force motto. Facts, not superlatives. And here are a few. 1,250 enemy aircraft have been destroyed during Israel's 52 years of existence, in addition to thousands of armored vehicles and high-value strategic targets. Yet, Israel's air-to-air losses amount to only 28 aircraft, an unprecedented kill ratio of 1 to 23, a force shy of glamour, preferring mission accomplished to stand on its behalf, obliterating Iraq's nuclear reactor 1,000 kilometers away, an air raid on terror command posts in Tunis, 2,400 kilometers from Israel, the release of Entebbe hostages 3,000 kilometers from Israel, and airlifting Jews from hostile countries thousands of kilometers from Israel. Opposing this heinous threat, the IAF posed for indivisible aims, linking every resource to meet developing threats. In a compact, centrally controlled force, every asset has to be close, available, and effective. A trainee may implement in the evening the actions of his commander that same morning. Life is of premium value in IAF parlance, leading to hair-raising rescue operations from the sky or land, from the sea or below it, and from perilous planes. This is another documented real-time video depicting a moment of truth. Israeli soldiers trapped deep inside enemy territory. An Israeli helicopter approaches the scene. Under fire, hanging between heaven and earth, the soldiers are safely recovered. No one but the commissioned officers' families who dwell in IAF bases understands better. He who routinely departs for an hour directly into an inferno comes back to serenity and again exits to danger. Here is home. Understandably, the IAF nurtures its personnel like a loving family, caring, grooming, entertaining the living, and at times weeping over the fallen and supporting their families. Air superiority is a prerequisite of the IAF doctrine, essential to retain its initiative and freedom of action unequivocally at all times and in any place. The IAF intrinsically operates at the highest level of technology and synergy, resulting in force multipliers, a whole significantly larger than the sum of its components. The IAF has at its disposal Israel's largest communication network, spanning from the line at a clinic to central command and control of hundreds of aircraft, meshing with intelligence resources, combat assets, and organizational forces.
אנחנו ניזונים מכמה מקורות של טכנולוגיה. טכנולוגיה שאנחנו רוכשים בחו"ל, טכנולוגיה שאנחנו רוכשים בארץ, וטכנולוגיה שמפותחת ייעודית לצרכים של חיל האוויר, על פי הרעיונות שעולים מתוך אנשי חיל האוויר.
Helmet-mounted sight is an Israeli innovation, one of many yet to be revealed. The difficult comes first, followed by the impossible, is an often quoted expression in the IAF. Downing a MiG-25 by a Hawk SAM had been considered next to impossible, but was carried out nevertheless. Budgetary constraints turned victory at all costs into cliché. The IAF strives to attain victory at the lowest possible cost and to provide maximum security with minimal expenditures. Driven by futuristic satellite-era challenges, the IAF has developed and operates highly advanced aerospace systems, among them command and control hardware, using smart communication systems, fast computers, and sophisticated electro-optic equipment. Over 50% of the technical recruits have already achieved sufficient skills shaped during childhood in paramilitary technical academies the Air Force established in its bases. An unprecedented legislation privileged the Air Force with first choice of the best candidates in each annual conscription. For many youngsters nurture a dream. The Air Force provides an opportunity to transform it to mature reality. A fledgling into a fully fledged eagle. The Air Force admits into flight school only the top 1,000th of all enlisted. Graduates of high school science classes blessed with aptitude for rapid thinking, coordination, motivation, stamina, situational awareness, and scores of extra attributes that will decide, in a brief, crucial moment, the distinction between victory and fiasco. It's tough to enter this wealth of elite, but even tougher to survive. In the IAF, only the very best is handpicked to lead combat missions. It would not seem inappropriate for a captain to command a colonel, because the captain is better suited to the task at hand. Debriefing has become an IAF-renowned legend. Debriefing exhaustively each and every sortie takes a great deal of self-confidence to stand in front of criticism, even from subordinates or juniors, without taking offense, grievance, or vengeance, including self-criticism to face subordinates and say, "My mistake."
חופש הדעה הוא מהיסודות של החיל. הוא בסופו של דבר זה שנותן לנו את היכולת לאסוף את השכל של כל הארגון הזה ולהוציא ממנו את התוצרת הטובה ביותר בכל התחומים.
While the IAF forms a statutory rigid framework, it still enables flexibility and creativity. This was uniquely demonstrated during the air raid on Syrian GHQ in the Yom Kippur War. An 8-ship formation returned to base due to its leader's decision. Yet another 8-ship formation continued through and bombarded the target. The IAF High Command gave a green light to both decisions. The IAF rationale was that backing freedom of decision bestowed on field commanders is more valuable than a mere choice between two feasible contingencies. In spite of material considerations, every serviceman knows deep down that he is the barrier between existential threat and its materialization, between fright and tranquility. Above and beyond national challenge, the IAF provides every individual with an opportunity to push the limit of his personal ability envelope, a scope for continuous improvement. IAF airmen wear broad wings consisting of thousands of people who carry him confidently, essentially through teamwork. Of the vast thousands who serve in the force, only 3% are air crews. The rest operate the system with skill, devotion, and will to a record efficiency. The ratio of servicemen number per aircraft in the IAF is the lowest in the Western world.
כל אחד ואחד מהם אנחנו דורשים להיות הכי טוב שאפשר, כי כשיש את הכי טובים אפשר לעשות את אותו דבר עם פחות השקעה, עם פחות אנרגיה, עם פחות משאבים.
In a Western society like Israel, the military is not a purpose into itself. Rather, it is a means for attainment of national objectives, including civil. So in times of relaxation, the Air Force is harnessed for deeds of peace. Israel Air Force, in the service of the State of Israel and its defense at times of war, and in the name of democratic universal values in times of peace.